Hi everybody, this is Jane from Willow Blue Vintage, and today I'm going to be showing you my Pastel Pages journal. So the outside of the journal is a hand-stitched fabric cover. This is going to be a future craft tutorial, so I will be showing you how to make this. As you can see, it's lots of pieced together pieces of old silk, lots of texture, pieces of lace, some paint, and lots of hand stitch on there. So it's a really gorgeous textured journal cover. Because this is kind of pales and pastels, I wanted the journal to match in with this. So this time I've gone for lots of pale patterned and kind of neutral backgrounds for journal pages, rather than going for a specific theme. So I've used lots of bundles and I've listed those all in the blog post. I particularly wanted it to be kind of really messy, so I've got lots of different page sizes, some sticking out, some shorter, so it's all quite random. So we start off at the front. This is an image from the, it's either the Endless Skies or the Silent Night. I think it was a Silent Night bundle. And I've gone over that with quite a lot of Mod Podge, so it's got like a kind of varnished feel. All through I've used pieces of photographs and I've used lots of hand stitching. As you can see here, there's a fragment of a photo hand stitched in place. I've used lots of original ephemera as well, so there's an old print from a gardening magazine there, fragments of typed letters, lots of washi paper. So if you look at the printables on the Graphics Fairy premium site, you'll see there's lots of different options for printing washi tape. That's a floral one there, another bit there. I printed out loads of those and I've kind of just dotted them through the whole journal for added interest. That's an image from the pink and grey ephemera bundle, stuck in with a piece of, that's actual washi tape, not Graphics Fairy washi tape. One of my favourite images, I've used this in several journals, it's from the free part of the Graphics Fairy site, this nun, which I've printed out onto photograph paper. And then I've put a tissue print of some birds, and throughout I've used tissue prints quite a lot, just to kind of add some subtle patterns and textures to some of the pages. So this is from the Vintage Patterns bundle. It's a kind of greyed out pattern that I've printed on tissue, so it's even more greyed out, if you like, and just stuck that onto the top of the image. So it's just a sort of subtle pattern added into the background. This is from the pink and grey ephemera bundle. Made a little pocket there, and I've made a few prints using this kind of paper. So it's actually a pad of tracing paper. It was from a kind of a bargain shop. It's really poor quality tracing paper, but it's brilliant for printing on. You get a really nice texture, and it comes out glassine. So I use that to print quite a few things onto. So this little pocket that I've made here was a pattern from the Endless Skies bundle, like a kind of scientific astronomy illustration. Printed it onto that glassine type paper and made a little pocket with an original piece of ephemera in there. So that's just tucked into a pocket there. I've got pieces of fabric with antique lace, antique silk stitched on. This was one of the ledger papers from the Graphics Fairy that I've printed onto paper. Looks really authentic. I applied some encaustic wax over the top. I don't know if you can see that. Sort of shining, gives a really nice surface. With a bit of a photograph there that just kind of pops out. Again, with one of those tissue prints of patterns on top. So this is one of the wallpaper prints. And this was some of the vintage papery and blank ephemera that I printed onto some more of that glassine type paper. A really lovely texture. There's a print from one of the pink and grey ephemera bundle, a bit more washi tape. And this is some silk that I painted with gesso and stitched on just because it was a really nice interesting texture. some more vintage papery. This is some silk and some raffia that I stitched onto a page of ledger paper. Another print from that might be a pink and red bundle, I'm not sure. They're all listed in the blog post. Again, with a piece of photograph that I've stitched on with a bit of gesso and silk. More of patterns, some more of the wallpaper, again some vintage paper and a bit of hessian there, some of the washi tape stuck on top. Another photograph there, again with that I've stitched onto, collaged onto. Some of the delicate end papers with a bit of glassine paper there stitched on, and a photograph again with some encaustic wax on top and some stitching and an old stamp. More collage and a bit of old antique lace there. There's another of the patterns that I've printed onto that glassine type paper there. This was a really huge photograph that I had and didn't really know what to do with, so I folded it in half and made a journal page out of it. Old diary page there. Another pocket made from the glassine with a vintage papery print and a photograph print that I put in there. And that was some rice paper that I printed one of the ledger papers onto from the blank ephemera bundle. This print I absolutely adore. It's from the pink and grey ephemera bundle, and it's a print of, it's kind of like a tapestry. It's a long thin print, and I used an old page from an encyclopedia that was blank on one side and had images on the other, and then I printed on top of that one again with another pattern from the pink and grey ephemera. It's lovely, very kind of, it's got a high clay content, this paper, so quite shiny. Again, stitched a piece of photograph onto it with some old sellotape and stitch. More of the glassine type paper, another print. This is another of the end papers with a bit of grey tissue that I stuck on top just for interest. Some more of the painted silk. This is another pattern from the grey and pink ephemera bundle with some, oh gosh, what's it called? Script ephemera printed on tissue paper stuck on top. More of the tissue paper there with the script ephemera, another pattern and old photo. Some more gesso silk with hand stitch, and again some of the encaustic wax on there. I don't know if you can see it kind of shining. More prints, again from the pink and grey. This one's from the Provence bundle. Photo stitched on there, another photo again with some wax on, and this is the centre of the book where it's been tied in to the spine. So going back, we're seeing the same prints, obviously. Another photograph stitched on there. Loads of space in this one for journaling. As I say, I want it to have a more kind of neutral base, so that it is kind of more available for journaling. That's a fragment of a sample that I made when I was making the cover of the journal, which I stitched onto a page there. And again, another pocket in there made from the glassine paper. That's the reverse of that photograph that I used as a page. Bit of old map stitched on there. Another photograph. Some more script ephemera printed onto a page there. Gorgeous wallpaper print. Got an old postcard that I've just tucked in. More bits and bobs attached there. And we're back to that final piece of fabric and another of those prints made from the glassine paper, and a little card that I made there with a photograph, a bit of script, an old linen button. And this page was another of those prints from the pink and grey ephemera, with a photograph where I've cut out the figures to leave this negative space. Another print onto tissue paper laid on top, just to make some like really interesting patterns and textures. This was that print again from the pink and grey bundle that's got that kind of fabric print, again on tissue paper, and I've used that to make a hinge for this photograph. Another piece of the fabric stitched on the bottom there, and we're back to the back cover. So I hope you enjoyed looking through that, and I hope it's inspired you to use some of those bundles. Thank you.